Street!
Nerd Street! Hey everybody, welcome back. I am Brent. This is...
You okay?
Let me see him off.
Yeah. Get out of my chair. Jesus. Feng Shui. Feng Shui. Now we're in kick-ass mode, guys. Okay, court is in session.
Alright, welcome back to Nerd Street. Today we are talking about something we never talk about. Star Wars.
Finally, we get to talk about Star
Right.
Wars.
Now, we know that this is something that is... This would be a long video, so we already know this is going to be a two-parter, a two-episode one, because Nick and
duology.
A duology, right, yeah. Maybe we'll make it a trilogy, like we'll invite somebody in at some point, whatever. So
At some point. You know, we are going to have some special guests.
special
on the
guests,
show.
right?
We do
Yeah,
have
we've been
plans.
talking about them. So
A couple people on the bill. We're going to keep it a secret, though.
top
Triple
top
A.
names.
Triple A. A-listers, man.
Right. Like, for instance, you know who Dave Bautista is? We're gonna have a guy who's actually seen him in public.
Oh, you had me going. You didn't tell me this. All right, folks, check this out. Let's get to it. Brent came to me and asked me last week what my favorite Star Wars movies were and rank them from best to worst. And it was interesting. It wasn't as easy as I thought. So it took a week, kind of made my list, and now I'm gonna make a video about it.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
As a two-parter, one of us is going to give our listing, and then the next video, the other one will give their listing. So, do you want to start, or should I start?
I want you to start.
You want me to start?
No,
Okay.
I think yours is gonna be better. You had more to say at lunch, so
Okay.
let me start with mine.
Okay.
All right, I have a list here,
You'll
folks.
be
Bear with me.
the opening act.
The opening act. Okay. All right, number 10 on my list for my least favorite Star Wars film is none other than The Last Jedi. I know you're surprised.
Big
right?
surprise there.
This movie totally sucked to me. I think it's a dead last. I didn't like much of the movie except the throne room scene, and I only like the throne room scene because it was a cool action scene that would have worked in any Star Wars film. So cool there. It reminded me of the Return of the Jedi throne room scene. So that was the only cool part I got out of the movie. There was nothing else in The Last Jedi that I like at all besides that throne room scene.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing. I don't want to talk too much crap about it, but we're going to move on to number 9. Number 9 for me is Attack of the Clones. Now, I battled with Attack of the Clones being the worst, or The Last Jedi, I was battling with that, but Attack of the Clones, you know what I liked? Some of the Tatooine stuff when he went back at the age he was at. Didn't he go back and find his mom?
Yeah, he went back and found his mom and cut down the sand people.
Cut down the sand, but that was interesting. That was pretty cool stuff.
That was like his first dark side action.
Yeah, the first time he started made his mind of his own, made his own choice, regardless of what and his master was telling him and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, that was a good film. We got. I know a lot of people could take or leave this, but Yoda fighting was the fact that he fought. Like no one's ever seen that.
Right.
So that was huge. That was cool. Never understood Dooku, like why he was casted. I just feel like a old man, like fighting. It just.
But Christopher Lee is so metal.
He's so metal. Good. You're so right.
When he was like 90 years old, he released a heavy metal album.
Oh my God, he did.
Yeah, he did.
So That's so cool, man.
And he's been a James Bond villain. He's been
he's
a
just
Dark
a
Lord.
legendary
So
classic.
he's just a total badass.
That's true.
I mean, the only better old man they could have cast would have been Danny Trejo as a
Oh
Sith.
God! Oh man! Yes, I actually like Dooku now. That good choice. Okay, that moves us on. Let's go to number 8. I think we're on. And number 8 for me was Rogue One. Rogue One to me is I bought the Blu-ray. I liked it when I was on a date when I saw it in the theater. Ended up being my girlfriend. Now she's my ex-girlfriend. She was mean. She was mean.
It's all because of Rogue One.
No, the thing is our first date was Rogue One. It's so dumb for me to take a chick to a Star Wars movie on a first date. All we did is flirt and play around and throwing popcorn and doing stupid stuff. And the whole time in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my God, there's a Star Wars movie on. Shut up, stop. I don't want to like you. I want to watch the movie, But it didn't happen that way. So I told myself in my head, I'm going to get the Blu-ray and I'm going to spend time with this movie. And I bought the Blu-ray, and every time I watch it, I like it less and less. Usually, movies are reverse, for me. If I'm not sure about a movie and I watch it enough times, I can always find something legit to bonify it as a legit movie. This time I can't with Rogue One. The more I watch it, the more dumb shit I see. With that being said, Solo comes in at number 6. Yes. 7. Yes, 7. 7. Solo comes in at number 7. That was a thrill ride to me. That was fun. It was entertaining. Everything was pretty good in that movie, except I hated how he got his name. I think it was so dumb how he got his name. So moving on from Solo. Well, no, let's stick with Solo a little bit.
Okay.
How did you feel about how he got his name? Did that bother you, or did you think whatever?
I thought it was a bit contrived.
Yeah. Okay.
But
that name holds heavy meaning. I thought it'd get more than that, And in that Kylo Ren review, I think he says, no, a random Imperial officer didn't dispassionately give me my name.
I mean, honestly, I didn't think it needed anything special or whatever. I always just thought
It didn't
Solo was his name.
Solo,
his
man.
surname. Like,
Yep.
Organa
Solo.
and Skywalker
Yeah.
and Solo. These aren't, there's nobody. Oh, look, there's Grand Moff Smith and
Grand Moff
Darth Jones,
Darth Jones.
Everyone's got.
Dude, that's like, that would be a cartoon or something, right?
Have you ever, I'm going to do a quick segue here. Have you ever seen the YouTube videos for Chad Vader?
No, who's Chad Vader?
Chad Vader is Darth Vader's brother, and he's like a manager of a grocery store. Or like a convenience store, and he looks like, he's dressed like Darth Vader, but he's got like an apron and a name tag that says, look it up on YouTube.
Okay,
it's funny.
Chad Vader.
You guys should too.
What's up, Chad? Call me that. Call me Vader. Alright, let's move up on the list. Okay, so after Solo, I think I'm going to go with... Okay, Force Awakens. Force Awakens, this is crazy. Force Awakens went from number 2 to number 6. So, that's crazy. I had to think about it deeply. Force Awakens, I was still on the honeymoon phase with that movie because I was so happy that Disney Star Wars came back. Still love the shit out of that movie. There's so many setups that didn't get answered in The Last Jedi, but the fact that if you pretend The Last Jedi didn't exist and you watch The Force Awakens, that movie rocks. That movie makes you think. There's so much in the future that's going to happen. They might answer these questions in Episode 9, which will go back and make Force Awakens watchable again, because it's hard to watch it now knowing that everything they leave you with doesn't get touched, so it's like, it's kind of hard watching it. I loved Force Awakens because they introduced Daisy Ridley. I know the character has kind of turned boring with no rhyme or reason, but in The Force Awakens, that chick could act. That chick was new. She right hooked me with her skills. I loved her methods. She was awesome on camera. Before we knew, we don't know anything still about her now, but there was a lot of mysticism there that was really, really fun to play with before The Last Jedi, and I think it really helped that film come up. Plus, seeing Han Solo back brought tears to my eyes, guys. It really did. There's a scene where Finn and Rey are hiding under one of the panels on the floor of the Falcon, and they're in there looking to see who took their ship. They found their stranded ship, and when they're looking for who's on there, Han comes in and says, "Chewie, we're home." And when he says, "Chewie, we're home," dude, I just started tearing up, and I got the feels, man. It was cool. I won't forget that movie. My time on the big screen with that movie. I went solo, went by myself, because besides Brent, none of my friends or family are really too much into Star Wars. So I went there by myself, and I remember walking out of that theater, smiling, walking back to my truck, smiling from ear to ear. And I was trying to contain it because there's a lot of people outside, and I didn't want to yell. So I got in the truck, and I closed the door, and I was like, "Oh, that was so amazing!" I started yelling in my truck, and people walk by, they're like, "What the heck?" After Force Awakens, what comes in at number 5 is The Phantom Menace. Number 5. Phantom Menace, I know a lot of people are probably rolling their eyes and don't understand it, but for me, I'm huge into fight scenes and good choreography in cinema, and I think the Duel of the Fates, which was the lightsaber duel at the end of Phantom Menace, was the greatest fight scene in cinema that I've seen. For sure. The choreography was insane. Ewan McGregor to this day still, if you in interviews, still to this day says, and kind of throws low blows at the other film's choreography by he says a lot of things like, We broke a lot of PVC pipes during our training. If we had a hilt like they put on Kylo Ren's, if we had a hilt when we were training, it makes it really easy to flip and balance it. He's taking little jabs because he's so proud of the rigorous work that he did in Phantom Menace that he compares it to everything else he sees, and nothing ever compares to him. All right, man. Should we move on?
Yeah.
All right. Is it okay to move on? You okay with my list? You think it sucks, huh?
Well, I don't think your list sucks. It's not as brilliant as mine, but you know.
All right, guys. Revenge of the Sith coming in at number 4. Revenge of the Sith, to me, is the most underrated Star Wars film out of all the Star Wars films. Every time I watch it, I pick up new stuff. Every time I watch it, I'm reminded to never question Darth Vader before he became Darth Vader, because in Episode 1 and 2, we don't get the Anakin that I thought we were going to get, but we did get him in Revenge of the Sith, and I hang on to those scenes before he goes full Vader because he's in that in-between stage, and that's such a special stage to me. It's such an interesting person, I guess, to see his personality on how he's half a foot in and half a foot out with the Council and with Emperor Palpatine. It's so fascinating, and it's trivial. You don't know if he should be acting that way. You're kind of with him. Like, how would you treat the situation? Would you back up your politics, or would you hold true to the Jedi Order, or would you hold true to your family? A lot of people would be an easy answer, but you have to think about the ripple effects and the outcome of everyone's future. So yeah, I'm gonna move on from Revenge of the Sith. That was 4. So we're going on to 3. And number 3, Episode 4, ladies and gentlemen, the one that started it all. I can't say enough about this movie. It was a staple in my life. It made me the science fiction fan I am today. It's responsible for all of that. Man, it's like it's everything to me. It really molded my values, my morals. It really gave me heroes to look up to. I had a really terrible father growing up, and I didn't really get the guidance that I think I deserved as a kid. But Star Wars: A New Hope was always there to give me that guidance and really helped raise me and shape me into the man I am today. I know it sounds crazy, but there was a lot of things in that film that I hold dear, a lot of principles that it taught me. So kudos to George Lucas in Episode 4. Thank you. That's number 3. All right, actually, what did you think of Episode 4? Give me some. What do you think?
Oh, well,
not ranked, but what did that movie do?
Right, like you said, it was the original, and it
Stories.
the interesting thing, and you and I have talked about this before. Episode 4, in and of itself, is not necessarily a great movie.
I agree.
But the mythology that has grown around Star Wars is what makes Star Wars awesome.
It does. Absolutely. And A New Hope just hit the right mark to let you know that was coming.
Right.
You knew it. When you watched that movie, you weren't like, okay, cool, when does number 2 come out? You're like, whoa, this is a thing. All right, so yeah, Episode 4, doing it right. You got more to say about it?
No, I was...
Good. Can I move on?
Please.
Okay, number 2. Number 2 is Return of the Jedi for me. Return of the Jedi was my favorite at first growing up. It was always between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And now that I'm older and I've seen these movies and comprehended them for everything they're worth now, I gotta say it's second. And the great things about it is Jabba the Hutt, of course. That was one of the coolest introductions of a new character ever. And he was an alien. It was like, wow, they hit the mark with that. Luke Skywalker tearing shit up on the sail barge. Man, I would rewind that shit all the time. I would rewind that. He was just like baseball bat slinging dudes and bodies are flying off. It was the best, man.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah, I should do an edit that scene and put that music behind it. Oh man, ooh. Other than that, I think that wraps up Jedi for me. Number 2, one of my all-time favorite movies. Second on my list.
And
right.
now, number 1.
Number 1 is The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back to me had everything that you want to see in the big screen when you pay for a movie ticket. You want every type of thrill ride. You want to go through every emotion. It's hard to capture all that in one film. To me, this film did it. It was dark, it was light, it was sad, it was funny, it was fast, it was slow, it was cheesy, it was serious. It was everything you'd ever want is in that movie. from the way it started on an ice planet, taking us to a brand new planet right off the bat, seeing new machines, those
Imperial walkers.
the AT-ATs or AT-ATs, whatever, however you say it. The chicken walkers were cool. Snow speeders. Then we go to Dagobah, where Yoda lives, which is insane. That's so cool. Learned a lot about Luke and Vader. My uncle told me that when he was in the theater for Empire Strikes Back, when he said, "I am your father," he said you could hear a pin drop. After the everyone gasped, and he said it was just dead silent, cold, because everyone was processing this, and it was like one of the biggest reveals in sci-fi or in cinema history. That's what I was told my uncle. He said he'll never forget how he felt in that theater. One of the coolest stories my uncle ever told me. Uncle B, you're the shit.
And you know the interesting thing is there's an interview with Mark Hamill, and they were talking about, you know, back then without social media and stuff like that, there wasn't all kinds of leaks and everything, and so they came to the producer or whatever came to Mark Hamill and said, so here's where we're thinking of going with the script.
Okay.
Now there's only 3 of us that know this. Me, George, Lucas, and you. So if this gets out, we know where it came from.
Oh man.
And
That's a smart
reveal,
tactic.
they filmed 2 versions of that reveal. There was the one that we saw that was, "No, I am your father."
Yeah.
But Mark Hamill says that they filmed another one where he says, "No, Obi-Wan didn't tell you the truth. Obi-Wan killed your father."
Really?
And Lucas had the idea, he was considering actually making Obi-Wan the bad guy.
Oh my gosh. Can
They-
you imagine how
that-
things would have changed?
Totally, yeah.
And you know what? That's not a bad idea.
No.
So it would be just as legendary. If we didn't know this, that would have been just as legendary today. You
Right.
know? Wow.
I mean, think about if
I didn't know this though. That's awesome.
what if Obi-Wan and Yoda were actually Sith Lords and they were grooming Luke to flip him?
Oh man, wouldn't that be insanity?
That would have been,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
so...
But I'm glad we have what we have now.
Right, no, I think it worked out well.
But that is something to think about for sure.
So,
My top 10, man. Number 1 was Empire Strikes Back.
all right.
Hells yeah. And you know what? You're not gonna find many lists where Empire isn't on the top of the list. To tell you the truth, I'm not saying yours is gonna be that, but you'd be hard pressed to find someone that puts that low, if not, you know.
No, Empire, I mean, a lot of people feel that Empire is the best one, and obviously it was so cutting edge at the time. The fact that it kind of
Oh,
ended
man.
so dark.
Yeah, and I love that shit.
Yeah, that's a great movie. So,
It was. Alright, man.
all right, so we're gonna wrap this video up. We're gonna continue in another video, but we know this is getting long. We don't want to. Yeah, you'd have to watch a 3-hour major motion picture. So,
You can only handle this guy's face for so long.
right.
20-minute limit. I went. And
So
I tried
hit that like, hit that follow, and then stay tuned for the next video, and where it'll be my list. So
Absolutely.
we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for the support,
Nerd
guys.
Street. Star Wars.